Can I beat Pokemon White only using Fire-type Pokemon? The rules are, I can only use Fire-type Pokemon in battle, I can use other Pokemon for 8 gyms, I have to play on set battle style, and no potions in battle. I meet the professor and name myself Alamis and name my rival Blue. I meet my mom and she tells me to meet up with Bianca, who is going to give me my starter Pokemon. I leave the house and run into Blue. We both go on to find Bianca where she gives us our starter Pokemon and I pick Titpic and nickname it Brock. Blue then challenges me to a battle where I beat his Oshawott. I hit to Route 19 and get Pokeballs. Making my way to the next town, I meet a man named Alter. I make my way to Route 20 and reach a ranch and battle and defeat Blue again. The owners of the ranch then appear and ask us to find the other herdier. In the nearby cave I find a Team Plasma Grunt. He leaves and I give back the Pokemon to the ranch owners. I return to my hometown and challenge the first gym. I then start the battle with Cheran. Barak killed his first Pokemon Petrat with a few embers. His Ice Lollipop also wasn't a problem, with Brock KOing it and winning me my first gym badge. After the gym, I make my way to Burbank City. I head south and catch myself a Growlithe, nicknaming it Scarlet. I then challenge the next gym leader, Roxy. Our first Pokemon Coughing kills Brock, but is only left with 1 HP. Scarlet comes in and kills both Coughing and her Ice Whirlipede, winning me my second gym badge. After the gym, I help Roxy and Blue with a few Team Plasma grunts. They run off and me and Blue take a boat to the next city. I go to challenge the next gym but he's not there. Then a girl named Iris asks for my help and I agree. I follow her and she tells me to go underground. I find Blue there and while we're exploring we find two Team Plasma grunts. Me and Blue fight them off and Brock also evolves. The gym leader then appears and returns to his gym and I meet a strange scientist. I then make my way back to the gym and challenge Berg. Brock one-shots Swadloon. His next Pokemon Dwebble is also killed and his last Pokemon Levani also gets one tap, winning me my third gym badge. I head to Route 4 and find the scientist again, whose name is Chorus. He removes a Pokemon block in the road and challenges me to a battle. Scarlet kills both his Pokemon Magnemite and Clink. Exploring the route, I catch myself a Darumaka and nickname it Becky. I then make my way through the route and reach Mombasa City. I run into a girl whose name is Rosa, who asks me for help beating the subway bosses. We are able to beat them and after I make my way to the next gym, I then start the battle with Elisa. She leads with a Emolga and I lead with Brock. Emolga uses Volt Switch and swaps into Fluffy. I hit her with two rollouts and get paralyzed in the process. He uses Volt Switch again and swaps back into Emolga, who gets hit by a rollout and dies. Fluffy comes back in and kills me with a Volt Switch and Zipstriker comes in. I send out Scarlet who lowers Zipstriker's attack with a Intimidate. I use Fire Fang to win about a third of its health. The next turn Zipstrike uses Volt Switch. I survive and Fluffy comes in and gets hit by the Fire Fang. Scarlet outspeeds Fluffy but misses his move and dies. I send out Becky. I use Facade and miss. I hit the next one bringing it to yellow HP but its berry activates. The next turn Zipstriker uses Flame Charge and I survive. I use Fire Punch and kill the Zipstriker. I then outspeed Fluffy and kill it, winning me my fourth gym badge. After the gym I run into Blue and help him fight off a group of Team Plasma grunts. Leaving the city I am stopped by Bianca and she gives me the 8 gem for Fly. I run across a long bridge and make it to Driftveil City. I then run into the new and old Team Plasma fighting. Blue appears and chases the new Team Plasma grunts away. I make my way to the next gym and fight the fourth gym leader, Clay. I do lose my first few attempts but I challenge him again. He leads with a Crocorock and I lead with Becky whose attack is lowered. I am able to KO it with a Flare Blitz. He sends in his Ace Excadrill. I swap into Scarlet to lower its attack with Intimidate and as Scarlet comes in, Excadrill misses its Rock Slide. I swap into Becky who dies to a Bulldoze. I swap back into Scarlet to lower the Excadrill's attack again. I get hit by a Metal Claw and hit it back with a Flamethrower which does not kill but burns it. I swap into Barak and get hit by a Crit Slash. The next turn Excadrill gets healed and I use Flame Charge raising my speed. The next turn, because of the burn damage, I am able to kill the Escadrille with another flame charge. His last Pokemon is a Sand Slash. I hit the flame charge and survive a bulldoze on 1 HP. I hit another flame charge. I send out Scarlet, who outspeeds and gets the KO on Sand Slash, winning me my 5th gym badge. After the gym, Clay wants me and Blue to enter the Pokemon World Tournament. I agree and enter, battling trainers like Blue, Cheran and Chorus. I win the tournament and leave in the building. I spotted Team Plasma Grunt. I follow him and board a shop. At first it seems empty, but then we get surrounded. I fight my way through and then get kicked off the shop. I then enter Relic Passage, and while exploring, Becky evolved. I then find and encounter Valcorona. I am able to catch it and nickname it Solar. I then go on to find the Firestone and use it on Scarlet. I enter Route 6 and reach Charge Stone Cave, finding Bianca. I make my way through without any trouble and reach the next city. I then make my way to Route 7, and while exploring Brock Evolved, I enter the tower and encounter and catch a Litwick. I nickname it Roku. I then return to the city and challenge the next gym. I start the battle with Skylar. She leads with a Swoobat and I lead with Scarlet. I hit 2 Fire Fangs to kill it. Her next Pokemon is Swanna. I survive a Bubble Beam on 4 HP and hit a Strength for some chip damage. I die the next turn and send out Becky. Swanna uses Feather Dance, lowering my attack, making my Flare Blitz almost do nothing, and Swanna's Berry activates. I survive the incoming Bubble Beam and kill Swanna with a critical hit Flare Blitz. Her next Pokemon, Skarmory, dies to a Flame Charge from Brock, winning me my 6th gym badge. After the jump, Skylar offers to fly me, the Professor and Bianca to the next city. We land at Lintimus Town. I make my way to the next route, and at Reversal Mountain I catch myself a Camerupt and nickname it Eruption. I find Bianca and we make our way out of the cave and reach Andela Town. Leaving the town, Blue challenges me to a battle. Scarlet takes care of the Unpheasant and Blue sends out Samurott and goes on to sweep my team. I return and start the battle again with Blue. This time I send out Becky, using 1 Work Up and killing the Unpheasant, and go on to do some chip damage on the Samurott before dying. Scarlet comes in and is able to kill the Samurott and the Simisage. I enter Route 13 and evolve Roku into Lambert. I am able to reach the next town. Leaving the town, me and Blue run into Team Plasma. They run off and Blue chases after them. I reach the next route and reach Opalut City, running into Iris. I then go on a detour to find a touch stone and evolve Roku. I then challenge the next gym. I start the battle with Drayden. I lead with Becky and I set up 2 Work Ups, raising my attack. I am able to kill his first Pokemon with a headbutt. His next Pokemon, Flygon, survives a headbutt but misses his Dragon Tail and dies the next turn. His ace Pokemon, Haxorus, gets hit by a headbutt, survives and kills Becky. I send out Scarlet and kill Haxorus with 2 extreme speeds, winning me my 7th gym badge. After the battle with Raiden, he asks me to follow him. I run after him and he tells me about the legendary Pokemon Reshiram and Zekrom. We then hear an explosion. We run outside and see a flying ship in the sky. The front opens up and a huge cannon comes out and starts shooting beams at the city. Team Plasma then shows up. I helped Raiden by battling all the grunts around the city. I also battled Senzalin in front of the gym. Becky takes care of his 2 Cryogonals and his Weavile. He leaves and I get the DNA splicer. Then a ninja appears out of nowhere. We find out that they have stolen the DNA splicers from us and they run off. I find and defeat one of them, but he just disappears again. Cheran then appears and tells me where to go next. I fly back to Andela Bay and head north to Route 13 and reach the next city. I see Blue outside the gym but tells me to battle the gym before we can catch up with Team Plasma, so I challenge the last gym leader, Marlon. He leads with a Caracosta and I lead with Brock. I hit Caracosta with a hammer arm and bring it to yellow HP, and I survive a scald. Caracosta gets fully healed, survives another hammer arm and kills me. I send out Eruption and use Earthquake to get the KO. His next Pokemon is Wailord and kills Eruption with a scald. I send out Scarlet and kill Wailord with 2 Thunderfangs. His last Pokemon gets KO'd by Roku, winning me my last gym badge. I make my way to Route 22 and get the Chorus machine. I use it on a crystal blocking my path. Leaving the cave, I find Blue and the shop. We raid the shop and find the key card, using it to disable the security. I then find the legendary Pokemon they are keeping. Me and Blue defeat the admin and the grunts and get kicked off the shop again. It beams itself back into the sky and flies off. Me and Blue then find a group of the new and old Team Plasma. I find the shop again. While Blue handles the grunts, I make my way to the chamber where the legendary Pokemon is being kept. I then battle and defeat Zinzalin again and find a room with Chorus inside. I then start the battle. He leads with a Magneton and I lead with Brock. Magneton uses Volt Switch and swaps into Magnezone, who gets hit by a hammer arm. It then uses Explosion, killing itself and me. I send out Eruption and kill his Matang. His next Pokemon Kling who outspeeds me and kills me with a Giga Impact. Scarlet comes in and gets the KO. His next Pokemon Behem gets killed by Becky and Magneton dies to Scarlet. I hit the next room and meet the leader of Team Plasma, Kitsus. He runs off and I chase after him, leaving the ship and entering a cave. I find Kitsus with the legendary Pokemon Kyurem. Kyurem charges up an attack on me, but before it can hit me, a man named In saves me. Kitsus then uses a DNA splicer on Kyurem. A very cool cutscene starts with Kyurem and Reshiram fighting, and Kyurem catching Reshiram and turning it into a ball. Kyurem then starts to fuse with Reshiram and turns into Kyurem White. I then have to battle the legendary Pokemon, but Brock makes quick work of it. I then have to battle the leader of Team Plasma, Kitsus. He starts the battle with a Cofagrigus and I lead with Brock. I swap into Becky and tank the incoming Psychic. Cofagrigus uses Protect and I set up a World Cup. I set up another World Cup and kill it with a Fire Punch. His next Pokemon, Seismitoad, gets hit by a Headbutt and flinches and dies the next turn. Drapion dies to a Fire Punch. His next Pokemon, Hydreigon, also flinches to a Headbutt and dies. His next Pokemon, Electros, gets KO'd by a Fire Punch. His last Pokemon, Toxicroak, also dies to a Fire Punch and I beat Kitsus. After saving the whole world, I make my way to Victory Road. I make my way through without too much trouble and at the end I have to battle Blue for the last time. He leads with Unpheasant and I lead with Roku. I bring it down to Red House and burn it, but I'm also at Red, so I decide to swap into Scarlet. I tank the incoming Aerial Ace. Unpheasant gets fully healed but dies to a few Thunderfangs. His next Pokemon is a Buffalon. I'm able to hit the Flamethrower before going down to an Earthquake and a Wild Charge. I send out Brock but die to a crit Earthquake. I send out Becky, outspeed and get the kill. His next Pokemon is a Samurott, which goes on to sweep the rest of my team. I make my way back and start the battle again. I start the battle with Becky and I set up a World Cup and get hit by a Facade. I KO the Unpheasant with a Fire Punch and kill the Buffalon with a Flare Blitz. I hit a crit Headbutt on Samurott, leaving it on 1 HP before dying. I send out Scarlet and hit 2 Thunderfangs before going down. I send out Roku to kill the Samurott and the Simisage. I then reach the Pokemon League and start preparing my team. The team for the Elite Four is Becky, Eruption, Roku, Scarlet, Solar, and Brock. And with that, I enter the Pokemon League. The first Elite Four member is Shunto. I lead with Roku, outspeed and kill the Cofagrigus and the Golurk. She sends out a Drifblim, outspeeds me and hits me with a Shadow Ball, but I survive. I hit it with my own Shadow Ball and get the KO. She sends out her own Chandelure and kills mine. The team of Scarlet and Becky is able to kill Chandelure and win me the battle. The second Elite Four member is Grimsley. He leads with a Liepard and I lead with Brock. Liepard uses Fake Out and hits me with an Aerial Ace and I use Walk Up. The Liepard uses a Track, preventing me from moving. The next turn I survive another Aerial Ace and kill it with a Hammer Arm. His next Pokemon is a Crocodile, which outspeeds me and kills Brock. I send out Solar and use Silver Wind and the Crocodile survives on 1 HP. It hits a Rock Tomb, bringing me to yellow HP and lowering my speed. He gets fully healed the next turn, but luckily I get a better damage roll and kill the crocodile. His next Pokemon is Crafty. I outspeed and hit the flamethrower but die to a crunch. I send out Scarlet and hit the flamethrower but Scrafty survives but misses his Rock Tomb. I am able to kill it the next turn. His last Pokemon is Bishop, which also dies to a flamethrower. The next Elite Four member is Caitlyn. She leads with a Moshana and I lead with Solar. I use Silver Wing doing about half its HP and Moshana uses Yawn. I kill it the next turn but also fall asleep. My next Pokemon is Sizzlith. I swap into Scarlet and get hit by the incoming Air Slash. Two Thunderfangs are enough for the KO. My next Pokemon is Reuniclus. I stay in and use Thunderfang and die to a Focus Blast. I send out Becky who kills Reuniclus with 2 Fire Punches. My last Pokemon is Gothitelle. 2 Fire Punches from Becky are more than enough to get the KO. The last Elite Four member is Marshall. He leads with a Throw and I lead with Solar. 2 Psychics kill Throw and his next Pokemon is Conkeldurr. I use Psychic bringing it to red HP, but its berry activates bringing it to half and I die to a Stone Edge. I send out Roku, use Shadow Ball, killing the Conkeldurr. His next Pokemon is Sark. It outspeeds and hits me with a Rock Slide. I use Shadow Ball and don't quite get the kill. The next turn Sark misses his Rock Slide and I get the KO. His next Pokemon is a Mienshao. I swap into Becky and get the KO with a Fire Punch, beating the last Elite Four member. I then move on to the champion. I then start the battle with Iris. She leads with Hydreigon and I lead with Solar. I use Silver Wind almost killing the Hydreigon but it gets to hit a Surf. The next turn it gets fully healed but 2 more Silver Winds kill the Hydreigon. His next Pokemon is a Dragon. I use 1 Silver Wind before falling to a Rock Slide. I then swap into Becky. I set up a Walk Up and dodge the incoming Rock Slide. I set up another Walk Up and survive the Rock Slide. I use a Headbutt and get the KO. My next Pokemon is a Aggron and I get the KO with a Flare Blitz, but the recoil damage kills Becky. I send out Scarlet and she sends out Archeops. I survive the incoming Acrobatics and hit it with a Thunderfang. Archeops then misses his Rock Slide and dies to another Thunderfang. She then sends out Haxorus. I'm able to hit 1 extreme speed before dying to an Earthquake. I send out Roku. Haxorus then uses Dragon Dance and I use Will-O-Wisp, burning it and halving its attack. Haxorus dies the next turn to a Shadow Ball. She sends out her last Pokemon, Lapras. I then proceed to Misclick and use Fire Burst and survive the incoming Surf. I use Shadow Ball and don't quite kill Lapras and die to a Surf. I send out Brock. Lapras outspeeds and hits a Surf but Brock survives and kills it with a Hammer Arm. I beat Iris and become champion. I get inducted into the Pokemon Hall of Fame, beating Pokemon White 2 only using Fire type Pokemon. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you could like, comment and subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video and thank you for watching.